Sit tight because I'm about to distill down all the info you need to know about the upcoming Tech Test 2 for Arc Raiders, the third-person PvPvE extraction shooter from Embark Studios. With this announcement, Embark also dropped a teaser video, and I'll look at that in detail shortly because there's definitely some new info revealed in that. While this video isn't sponsored, I am part of Embark Studios' content creator program for the finals, so I've tagged this video as being a promotion. But after a wait of exactly 183 days since Tech Test 1 for Arc Raiders, we're going to get the chance to play it again for 5 days, starting on April 30 and finishing on May 4. And great news, this time console players on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S will be able to join in. At release, the game will also be available via cloud streaming through Nvidia GeForce Now. There will be no NDA for Tech Test 2. So you can talk about the game, you'll be able to stream, record and share gameplay. I'll be aiming to stream every day of the playtest here on YouTube and Twitch as well. If you want to join me on Twitch, here's the link and it's in the video description too. But let's continue through a swath of additional info that Embark Studios have provided via a press release and the game's official Discord. You can sign up for the playtest via Steam or the Epic Games Store, or you can also go to arcraiders.com for the sign up links, or just in the video description below. Players who were selected for previous Arc Raiders playtests will be granted automatic access to this test too. Alexander Grondal, executive producer for Arc Raiders, said in the press release that over the past 6 months we've worked hard to expand the core experience based on community feedback. This is our chance to see how those changes perform at scale. We're especially eager to gather feedback on progression, the combat experience, cross-platform performance, and how the experience feels now that it's more expansive and layered. So there'll be a lot more players testing the game this time. Tech Test 2 introduces a wider range of Arc enemies, more weapons, gear and gadgets, much deeper player progression and crafting systems, and a preview of Arc Raiders' upcoming Battle Pass. There will be solo and squad play of up to 3 players, but you can run solo against squads if you want to ramp up the fear factor. So having a solo mode is particularly interesting given the amount of chatter in the last few days about Bungie not providing a solo mode for their upcoming extraction shooter Marathon. I'll talk again soon about how these two games are starting to compare, but let's just focus on Arc Raiders today. Embark made particular emphasis about the solo and squad modes by writing, "Whether you're a long-time fan of high-stakes extraction and survival games or new to the genre, Arc Raiders invites you to carve your own path, your own story, and your own fate as a squad or a lone ranger." I've put a link to the official Discord for Arc Raiders in the video description too, and I suggest you join it because while it's currently only a read-only Discord, there's some extra info that was provided there. For newbies to the game, what can you expect? The Discord explains. For those who may need a refresher, Arc Raiders is a multiplayer extraction adventure set in a lethal future Earth where little remains of the world we know today. On the surface, threats are everywhere. Arc machines loom high in the skies and lurk in the shadowy corners of abandoned spaceports and rundown warehouses. You'll encounter everything from roaming robots to multi-legged behemoths, and the choice will be yours. Team up to defeat them or risk combat with your fellow raiders if you'd rather keep the spoils for yourself. While the line between friend and foe is razor thin on the surface, in Speranza you'll find refuge. The traders there are ready to supply you with quests and gear. You can also craft equipment in your raider den, such as advanced weapon mods or unique gadgets. With every level gained on the surface, you can invest experience into a branching skill tree. Now that info about the branching skill tree I'm particularly pleased to read because it means you'll have choices over how your character develops as you progress. In an additional document provided on the Arc Raiders Discord, it says that the skill tree has 3 distinct specializations: conditioning, survival, and mobility. Allocate points between branches in the skill tree at your discretion to create your unique build. Let's whiz through some other details. Tech Test 2 playtest participants need to be at least 16 years of age. A single round in the game is up to 30 minutes in length. As the round progresses, some of the extraction points will shut down, limiting your options to get back underground. There are world activities scattered around each map with extra rewards if you complete them. The game has both squad and proximity VoIP, so another thing there that has been discussed a lot with the recent announcements about Marathon potentially not having proximity chat. You will be able to invite 2 friends to the tech test after completing 4 rounds, so make a friend and be a friend. Anti-cheat will be active during the tech test. Here's an image Embark provided of the default keybinds. Pause the video if you want to check them out more, and the same for controller. Now, if you get access to the tech test, you'll be notified over email. If you have previously played an Arc Raiders playtest on Steam, you'll gain immediate access to this test, but you won't be notified. Access is given randomly, and Embark will distribute invites gradually throughout the test, so if you don't get an invite on day 1, you may get one later. The tech test will include 3 maps. Dam Battlegrounds. The Alcantara Power Plant, or the Dam, once served as a crucial Raider stronghold during the bitter closing battles of the first wave. So a bit of lore coming in there. Even now, these toxic waterlogged lands remain a hotspot for Ark skirmishers. Buried City. Amidst the sand dunes in this arid wasteland, Buried City is a remnant of the old world, quite unlike the cold steel spires of the Exodus age. Walk these narrow streets and empty plazas and know that people once lived here. Asera Spaceport. A majestic testament to humanity's past ambitions, Asera Spaceport is where the Exodus shuttle's vessels of hope and desperation once roared into the heavens, leaving a beleaguered Earth behind. From the previous playtest, I think Buried City is my favourite because of the close quarters action, but I like them all and they all feel different. Okay, let's dive into the teaser. It opens with just the Embark logo. I'm not sure why Embark's parent company Nexon doesn't appear here like they have previously. Maybe they felt they just needed to have less corporate stuff at the start. One thing you notice throughout this video is just how magnificent the sound design is. And this carries across to the game. We see these 3 airborne Ark machines patrolling in formation in the distance. This hazy lighting here is excellent. I recognise the location as well. It's a couple of residential apartment buildings on the Buried City map. We get our first look at a couple of raiders who are clearly not on the same team, but it looks like the one closest to us is willing to make a friend. There's a dead raider here, and it looks like they're being scavenged by one of the smallest Ark machines, which are known as ticks. These are face-hugging critters that will jump at you if you don't dispose of them quickly. The graffiti on the sign here translates from Italian to liars in English, so a bit of lore there. You can see a raider extracting via one of the big surface elevators on the spaceport or dam maps, and hear a recorded voice telling them and anyone around that the elevator is at the surface and ready to go. This Ark machine is known as a fireball. They roll around inside buildings and then stop and shoot a flamethrower in your direction. The change in light you see is telling you that the machine has switched from passive to on alert, probably from hearing the raider nearby. This thing in the background looks a bit like the Gadget nuclear device from the Trinity test. This is an Ark probe descending, which lands during a round and can be breached open and looted for pretty good gear, but of course everyone nearby can see them landing. Finding one already on the ground is probably a safer looting option. And then boom, we get our first tease that the big ground-based Arks known as Barons, Kings and Queens are in the game for the first time since they were shown in the original Ark Raiders trailer back when the game was a co-op PvE shooter. Based on the fact that during Tech Test 1 it was pretty solid work for a squad of 3 to take down the smaller Bison Ark you see here, I suspect that for this monster, squads might either need to team up together or be super well kitted to take one on. We then see the Ark Raiders logo, and after that we have a nighttime setting, and we hear what I'm guessing is an Ark machine, which I don't recall hearing during the previous playtest. Kinda sounds like a whale. And lastly, aside from the playtest dates, we see these satellites moving in orbit around the Earth, which I guess are Ark ships above. Okay, that's all the details you need for the upcoming Tech Test 2 for Ark Raiders. I'll be back soon with more info about Ark Raiders, including more about how the game is shaping up compared to the highly discussed extraction shooter Marathon. Thanks for watching this video to the end, and thank you to the members of my channel for their ongoing support, and as I mentioned earlier, Embark Studios for having me as part of their content creator program. Both are greatly appreciated. Do the usual YouTube business if you want to see more videos from me from now on. Give a like or comment as you see fit, and enjoy the rest of your day. Kia kaha. Stay strong.
Everybody knows the world ain't right. Down on your knees, get up and fight.